Gaming Alphabet. 3, 2, 1, go! Alpha Protocol, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Darksiders, Elder Scrolls, Far Cry, Grand Theft Auto, Heavy Rain, Indigo Prophecy, Jak and Daxter, Killzone, Last of Us, Mass Effect, 99 Nights, Overlord, Prince of Persia, Quantum of Solace, Resident Evil, Street Fighter, Tekken, Unreal Tournament, Velvet Assassin, Warhammer, X-Blade, Yakuza, and Zoo Tycoon. Gamers, what is up? My name is Vernon, and if you're not familiar, this is Gaming Bytes, where we talk about the biggest gaming stories of the week, starting with... And the first thing I gotta talk about is Christopher Sundberg, who is the founder of Avalanche, makers of Just Cause 2, and now they're working on Mad Max, and the fact that he tweeted that Mad Max will have an Aussie accent. And his tweet went something like this. Attention fans who want Max to have an Aussie accent in Mad Max, it shall be so. We admire your loyalty. You have been heard. I understand the need to stay true to a franchise, but what if Max had a French accent? Would that take away from the gameplay? Would that take away from the story? Personally, I was never into Mad Max. I never saw the movies with, I guess, Mel Gibson. My point is that there are a billion other things that could be announced that a lot of people are still waiting for, other than the fact that Mad Max will have an Australian accent. How about Valve announces Half-Life 3? How about Ubisoft announces a Prince of Persia reboot with a Black Prince? How about we get Naughty Dog to unleash their latest creation? It's a prequel for the Uncharted series called Uncharted: A Dirty Diaper. And how about we get Ubisoft to announce that Assassin's Creed 5 Back to the Future will be a last installment for the Assassin's Creed series? How about that for an announcement? Speaking of Ubisoft, Watch Dogs is on my radar because of an interview that just explains how greedy companies can be. Senior producer Dominic Guay gave an interview to The Guardian in reference to Watch Dogs being a 10-year project because they, quote, want to build a strong core for the franchise over the next decade. In response to a comment made about Destiny doing exactly the same thing, here's what he said. Honestly, that's what we're going to do too. Here's the way we think about it. Even if we change our minds mid-course or after shipping Watch Dogs and say, scratch that, we'll do something else, the planning helps to make a strong core. If there's a clear long-term plan, you'll have stronger characters, the universe will be more coherent. Okay, Ubisoft, how about you have strong characters from the get-go? Why do we have to wait for you to build a strong core game over the next decade? And knowing Ubisoft, it'll probably be a yearly release like Assassin's Creed. Here's the disconnect. It's great that you want to have a long and healthy franchise that'll possibly bring fandom and cash to the table, but it's kind of arrogant to say that you're just going to do it over a 10-year process when the first game hasn't even been released yet. Let me tell you a story. I'm a big fan of Telltale Games' The Walking Dead, and I play it over and over again. Now recently, they released a DLC pack called 400 Days, which is a bridging DLC between Season 1 and Season 2. So I bought it. Of course, it's worth it because it's awesome. And of course, I cannot wait to play the second season, but the point is this. Not once did I hear someone from the company say, we're gonna do this in seasons, we're gonna have this many seasons, and everyone's gonna buy it because they're just gonna love it. Hell, I didn't even hear them call it a season until after they won Game of the Year. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't heard anything from any individual at that company. Telltale Games have been completely silent. Why? Because if you're confident in your game, you don't need to say a word. That's it. That's all you need to do is let your work speak for itself. If the fans like it, if they buy it, they'll tell their friends and they'll tell their friends. That's how the cycle works. If the acclaim is big enough, you make more. Watch Dogs isn't even out yet, and Ubisoft is planning to build this up and draw this out throughout the next decade? And how arrogant is it to assume that people will continue to buy your game during that decade? If there's anything to be learned from the Assassin's Creed franchise, it's that there's a difference between building a core franchise and milking the nipples dry. Again, why do execs feel like they need to open their mouths? BioWare said a lot of stuff about their game that turned out not to be true, tried to backpedal, and then just stayed silent for the remainder of the time, hoping it would blow over. Sega and Gearbox basically false advertised the hell out of their game, and now they're in a lawsuit, so we'll see how that goes. Hell, even Microsoft dug themselves into a hole that reached to the core of the earth, and then Don Mattrick doesn't even have to worry about that anymore because he's off to run Zynga for like $19 million a year, and I guarantee you, if someone paid you $19 million a year to do something, you'd be thrilled to be that person's bitch. And that, my friends, brings me to the question of the week. What is your favorite video game franchise, and how long did it last before it started to get boring for you? Leave a comment down below. Otherwise, my name is Vernon to it. I hope you enjoyed getting to it. Much love to you all, and I'll see you next time on HoldTheLine.com.